The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are indebted to Hobbs, the mutant cat trying to overtake the city of New York from Shredder. So today we're going to see the mutant army develop with the aid of Splinter. You have found yourself on the bizarre side of YouTube, where reality meets fiction, where your stories are read back to you in a dramatic fashion, where I get to pretend to be a voice actor. This is Comicstorian, and we take the time to make you a comic book expert by filling you in on the big moments happening within the world of comics. We do cut out the B-plots and limit our panel usage to prevent copyright problems and allow you to have something to read to yourself if you so choose to. I do recommend going to your local comic book store and starting your own collection, or you can use one of our sponsors, Shortboxed. Click the link down below to learn how you can win a graded comic book yourself and discover the world of collectible comics. When we last left off, we discovered the origins of the Turtles as reincarnated individuals. Their past lives have had them entangled with the Rokusaki, otherwise known as Shredder, and now that everyone has been born in the modern day, this blood feud is continuing. Shredder enacted a plan to convert Leonardo to his side, brainwashing him to become a member of the Foot Clan in the City Fall arc. Since then, the Turtles have been struggling. They fled New York to collect themselves, where they made new friends with Alopex, a white fox, and they were attacked on April's family's farm. It was then decided to return to New York and begin rebuilding in hopes that they can kill Shredder once and for all, and end this blood feud. But Splinter made a deal with Hobbs the Shady Cat, and it's time for that debt to come due. Today is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Volume 9, second half. Elsewhere in the city, Lindsay steps out of her apartment explaining to her mother that she just emailed out her resume, and no one has contacted her back yet. She tries to get into her car, but drops her keys in a rain puddle. As she reaches down for them, a voice calls out to her from the shadows. "Hello, Lindsay. Good news, your job hunt is over." Old Hob tells her, and the monstrous Slash is standing behind him. Elsewhere, Casey is standing over the gravestone of his mother, memories flooding through his mind of her telling him that he is her hero as she stares at his college hockey scholarship. "You're going to be the first to go to college, and I couldn't be more proud of you." Casey looks down at her gravestone, sadness in his voice. "I'm sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry," he whispers. "Oh, boo-hoo! Cry me a river." A voice calls out from behind him, and Casey turns to see his father standing there, flanked by the other members of the Purple Dragons. "How did you find me?" Casey asks. "Wasn't hard. This is where you always go when you want to feel sorry for yourself." He smiles. Meanwhile, Raph and Mikey pulled themselves through the window of Old Hobbs' apartment building. "Let's make this quick. I don't want to be in this dump any longer than we have to," Raph tells his brother for the gazillionth time. Mikey knocks on the door, letting Hob and Slash know that they brought gifts. The door explodes outward, showering the brothers in splinters of wood. "Mikey!" Slash yells in happiness. "Hey, big guy! With pizza, just like I promised! Candy's got nothing what's in this box," Mikey tells his giant friend, and Old Hob walks out inspecting the damage that Slash has done to their door. "Damn it, Slash! I told you not to open the door for anyone!" Meanwhile, Mikey is holding out the boxes and Slash takes a sniff. "Pizza?" he whispers. Raph pushes past the old cat, stepping into the dark apartment. "What's wrong, Furball? Got something to hide in here that you don't want us to see?" Raph snaps, but stops short as he steps inside, because before him, Lindsay is tied to a chair while a mutated pigeon is standing there with a pistol in his hands. "Hi, I'm Pete!" The pigeon greets them. "Come on, Slash! We got some serious scarfing to do," Mikey says, stepping into the apartment behind Raph, but he stops short when he sees the pigeon holding the gun to Lindsay. "Hi, I'm Pete!" The pigeon greets. Slash leans down, putting his hand on Mikey's shoulder. "Look, new friends," he whispers with a smile. Hun, meanwhile, looks at his son, pointing out that it's convenient that he's in a graveyard. "Guess you're done playing the nice guy, huh?" Casey asks, and Hun smiles, shaking his head and telling his son, "That was no act. I made you a fair offer and you passed. Now you're as dead to me as your mom," Hun tells his son, and Casey nods, pulling out his hockey stick from his bag and pulling on his mask. "Come on, kid. You can't seriously think you could take us?" Hun asks, but Casey just pulls the mask down, telling his father, "You're a coward. That'll do anything to make good with Shredder. So, Hun, we gonna do this or not?" Casey asks, and Hun nods, ordering his men to attack. "Batter up!" Casey shouts, swinging his hockey stick, breaking it over the face of the first guy to jump in. He twists, slashing the broken stick across the head of the next goon before a punch cracks him in the jaw, knocking his mask away. Another thug kicks him hard, sending the youth sprawling. But Casey struggles to his feet, spitting out the blood. "You wimps ain't ready to give up yet? That's cool, 'cause neither am I," he shouts, pulling out 2 baseball bats and jumping back into the fight as the purple dragons surround him. Back at old Hobbs' apartment, Mikey puts the pizza down as Raph pulls out his size. "Who's the lady? And who's the bird with the gun?" "Hi, I'm Pete!" Pete introduces himself. Old Hob pulls the pistol from Pete's hand, worried that he's going to blow his own head off. He then stands in front of them, telling them that Lindsay Baker is a scientist with StockGen. And the imbecile with feathers is Pete, Pigeon Pete. "Hi, I'm Pete!" Pete begins to introduce himself again, but Hob interrupts. "Zip it, stupid! They figured that out already!" Raph begins to get angry, demanding to know what Hob was thinking by kidnapping a StockGen scientist. "The future," Hob explains, telling them that he knows that they're here to talk about building a mutant army. He tells them that he took the mutagen that Splinter provided him with and tried experimenting. Thus, he created Pigeon Pete. Takes a real scientist to make it work. Someone who has plenty of experience poking and prodding animals. Someone like Lindsay here. He tells them that he didn't kidnap her. This was a job interview. "I was just about to get to the salary when you two barged in." "So that's why you tied her up then, huh?" Raph asks, pointing with his sigh. "I just wanted her undivided attention, that's all, no biggie." Hob explains, and Raph cuts the woman free, asking if she's okay. "Yeah, just give me a minute to get my bearings," she gasps, pulling the tape from her mouth, and Hob looks at her, telling her to use the time to decide on his offer. "Just remember, this could be very good for you or very bad, depending on what you decide." He growls, and Mikey steps in, telling him, "What you're doing is wrong." Hob disagrees, believing that they need an army to help protect the mutants against the likes of Shredder and Stockman. "We all know that armies are for hurting and killing," Mikey argues, but Hob believes that an army could help protect mutants like Slash. "Pizza good," Slash declares with a smile. "Maybe the kidnapping was a little extreme, I'll admit it, but our guest isn't innocent. Far from it." Hobbs tells them, reaching into a drawer, pulling out a syringe of blood. "I know that this'll snap her out of her poor me act real quick. A little piece of Splinter that our ex-boss had me hunt down not long ago." Hobbs says, showing her the vial. "My God, you actually got some." Lindsay whispers, taking the syringe, staring at the contents. Over in the cemetery, though, one of the gang members holds up a bleeding Casey, yelling for his brother to hit him with a crowbar. "Stop it! I'll take it from here!" Hun orders, walking across the cold grass, lifting Casey up, telling the young man that none of this was necessary. Hun cocks back his fist, preparing to end the fight, when suddenly a taser dart sails out, stabbing into his meaty arm. Jolts begin to leap through Hun's body, forcing him to drop Casey as he spasms. Nobody deactivates her cloak, revealing herself amongst the gang members. She turns, using the anti-grav gloves to throw the other gang members into a tomb, knocking them out. "Come on, Casey, we got a boogie!" Angel tells him, reaching down to help him back to his feet, but Hun struggles to his feet, yelling in a rage. Harold begins to talk to Angel over her radio. "That suit is not ready for battle testing! Get out of there, nobody!" "You are dead!" Hun hisses, crossing the ground between them, but Angel opens up with her laser, cutting through the tombs. The gravestone tumbles towards Hun, so he turns, shattering it with his immense fist. When he turns back, both Casey and Angel are gone. Back over at Hobbs' apartment, Lindsay is questioning where he managed to get Splinter's blood, and he tells her that he held onto it for quite a while, but he wants her to use it on Pigeon Pete to fix his mutation. She explains that the only mutant that this will work on is Slash, since he is the one who was created in a controlled environment. "No, I ain't letting you stick that into Slash. You humans already messed him up enough. I've got more saved than what's in that needle. We'll just start fresh and find something else for you to do your voodoo testing on." Finally, amidst the arguing, Slash reaches out, grabbing the syringe, staring at it as Hobbs tries to talk him out of it, but Slash isn't listening. "Slash hero, like Mikey," the big turtle says. "Slash help Mikey," he yells as he stabs himself into the arm with the syringe of Splinter's blood. Everyone stares in shock as Slash begins to scream in pain, roaring, lashing out, punching the wall. "You're going down!" Raph yells, leaping at Slash, pulling out his side, rips him off first, slamming him into the ground. Hobb demands to know what's wrong with him and how to stop Slash's rampage, but Lindsay doesn't know. They always used tasers before. Hobbs grabs the taser rifle, trying to get to Slash to stop him before he kills Raph. Suddenly, Slash slows, becoming more clear. Mikey, what happened? My head, it feels so strange. He asks, his words making perfect sense. Everyone stares at the big turtle, shocked. I feel different. There was all of this terrible pain, but now everything is clear. Slash tells him, looking around the room. It's all right, everyone. I'm okay now. You can lower your gun, Hobb. I won't hurt anyone. Hobb looks at Lindsay, telling her that she got the proof that the blood works. Yeah, but where do we go from here? Raph asks, looking at Mikey next to the giant turtle. Meanwhile, over in their secret lair, Leo and Master Splinter continue to meditate, unknown to them, beady eyes watching from the shadows. Splinter opens his eyes. It is decided. We will strike first against the foot, with all available resources at our disposal. And the Technodrome? Leo asks. Will be our next priority, but Sakai's destruction must come to an end. Do you agree? Splinter asks his son. Leo both agrees and disagrees. He knows that Shredder is a threat, but agrees with Donnie that Krang won't wait for them to defeat the Foot before activating the Technodrome. Splinter sighs, getting to his feet. Come, Leonardo. I would like to stretch my sore muscles, the rat says to his son, and they walk down the tunnels into the shadows, Leo holding onto his flashlight, leading the way. When suddenly the light goes out and Splinter and Leonardo are plunged into darkness. My son, I cannot move. Are you there, Leonardo? Splinter calls out. You waste your breath, rat. Your child will not answer. Who is speaking? I've gone by many names. I have forgotten all of them. You may call me the Rat King. The voice says as the light returns, revealing a pale man sitting on a broken throne, surrounded by rats. Welcome home. He smiles, and the Rat King stands inspecting the two creatures. I've never seen anything quite like you, and I've seen much in my time. The Rat King explains that there are smaller versions of Splinter, that he and his son are now in the Rat King's care. In my thrall, one might say. Holding up a rat and dropping it into his mouth. The king walks over to Leo, leaning down to inspect the turtle. This child reeks of my sister's handiwork, he says with a smile, and the king turns back to Splinter, explaining that they are in his home, a thin place, a place between the worlds. Neither here nor there. Why have you brought us here? Splinter demands, and the king sits back in his throne, smiling. For that answer, a history lesson is in order. The king explains that he comes from a distant past, where mankind was in its infancy. His family, mighty beings, competed to rule the world, a world sadly lost to memory. But the king, like his brethren, continued on, remaining hidden from the world. He used his powers sparingly, but always in anticipation of the great game to come, when my family and I would again compete for the throne of the world, a world once more ready for the extraordinary. Splinter, still trapped, glares at the king. What does this have to do with us? He asks, and the king leans back, waving his hand as if the question is pointless. Oh, nothing. Everything. That will be for those like me, your masters, to decide in time. The world is our chessboard. Every chessboard requires pawns, and the pawns can be saved or sacrificed. Tonight, my pawn. It is my whim to find out how strong you are. The rats all begin to crawl around them, and in a matter of moments, both Leo and Splinter disappear amongst the writhing beasts. As Splinter opens up his eyes, he sees standing before him Leonardo in his Foot Clan outfit. What have you done to him? Splinter demands, turning back to the Rat King, who continues to speak in rhymes and riddles. The king speaks of Splinter's failure to protect his sons, and Leo draws his sword. He's right. You failed to protect us over and over again. Talk, talk, talk. That's all you do. That's all you're good for. Nothing but empty words and false promises, and I'm sick and tired of it. Leo hisses, swinging his weapon, bringing it to Splinter's throat. Stop, my son. I am not your enemy. Splinter whispers, holding his hands up, and Leo moves in to strike, but Splinter dodges to the side, moving towards his son, putting his hand on the warrior's shoulder. My failure to destroy Rokusaki is to blame for all that has passed, and for all that is to come, but I will act now, I promise. I will destroy all of our enemies before they destroy us. My son, I am so sorry. The Rat King looks on. Though I find your melodrama grating, I admire your single-minded desire to protect your children, Rat. A very useful trait indeed. So the father's move is finished. Time for the son's turn. The Rat King smiles, and Leo opens up his eyes, shocked to discover a massive Splinter sitting before him. Mewling brat. Always so weak, always so afraid. Splinter hisses, and Leo backs away, drawing one of his weapons. Whatever you are, I know you're not my father, and I will defend myself. Leo tells the vision of Splinter, who attacks, and Leo dodges to the side, slashing his father across the arm. That was just a warning! Quit pretending to be my father, it won't work. I know who you are. I know what you are. And I know what you're trying to do to me. You think you can mess with my head, but you're wrong. Because this time I know exactly who my enemy is. Leo roars, running forward. He leaps over the vision of Splinter, slashing his sword down on the Rat King, but he stops midair, mere inches from the strange creature. Fascinating. My sister exploited your doubts. Now that doubt is gone. Not to be used against you again. You've turned that weakness into a strength. Suddenly, Leo and Splinter are once again in their meditation chamber. Leo is shocked to discover that Splinter has a cut across his arm. He's trying to brainwash me, father. And he did not, Splinter confirms. Indeed. You are like no creatures I have encountered before. A rat who is a man and a father, and a turtle who is a child becomes a man, more knight than pawn. The game of the world has just begun, and my opponents have already made their first moves. Rest assured, my turn will come, and when it does, perhaps I will lead with my knight. The Rat King tells them with a smile. In a moment, you will not remember me, but know this, I will not forget you. He says with a final smile before shrinking into the darkness. Leo and Splinter look at where the strange man stood, and finally Leo looks down at the sword in his hand. Father, you were saying? He asks, and Leo turns shocked to find a cut across Splinter's arm. Are you okay? Maybe you should sit down. Please, I'm fine, my son. I feel no weakness. Splinter tells him, and Leo's eyes widen. That's it, father. I know how to beat Shredder. Meanwhile, a helicopter lands atop a ship in the middle of the ocean. Shredder steps out, flanked by his ninjas. Shredder, I presume? A voice calls, and the warlord stops before the speaker. Indeed, General Krang. And there you have it. Slash is now an intelligent turtle, which is kind of terrifying, because look at him in comparison to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But our goal now is to move back into giving you full volumes of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because there's a few key moments in this storyline involving the death of one of the brothers, Krang arriving, and the final fight with Shredder. All of this needs to be covered very soon, so we're going to be moving right into all of it. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join us at Patreon to get early access to these videos and many others. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time right here.